Hey everyone, welcome to Infinite Realms. Get ready, because today we're going to review Black Series Retro Carded. Is it officially named Retro Carded for this line? I'm not sure. But it's Yoda. You know, Yoda. The big guy, the important one. Yes, Yoda. And as you can see, of course, this is harking back to the old packaging from Empire Strikes Back. And let's take them down and take a look and see what we've got going on. And so here we see Yoda out on the spinner, and not a bad figure at all. I do think the arms look a little, and that could be just me, but I'm not going to knock it too bad for that. But it is noticeable, and of course he has a snake, which harks back to his very, very old school original Kenner figure, and I do like kind of that nod towards it. It is, of course, a very different color. The original one was just flat orange plastic. This one at least has some color added to it. And yeah, he looks pretty cool. I do think the green skin is a little bit dark. But again, I'm not going to knock it too badly, but I think it still should be pointed out. And of course, this is Yoda out of the package. And again, I just look at those arms. I just think they're a little too long. I don't know. It just feels that way. And, maybe it was just the position. Yoda would always be kind of a little hunched over. But it seems like, in Attack of the Clones, when he finally pulled a lightsaber, it just seemed like, his arms were a little short for his body. I mean, I think that was his species. And these look a little long for that species body. Get where I'm coming from here? That's my thought on it. And, I'm looking back at some of the vintage figures, and I think those vintage figures kind of held to the original idea that his arms are a little bit short. Which I think works fine. I don't see the problem. But, either way. Now, of course, Yoda does come with his lightsaber. That's a tough one. Because, I remember watching Attack of the Clones in the theater when Yoda pulled his saber, and I don't know, I just never felt really good about that. I remember listening to the audio commentary about Attack of the Clones, and someone, I think it was Rick Berman, I'm not sure, said that they wanted to make sure that it did not look silly and comedic, and my theater reacted with uncontrollable laughter. I mean, I thought that was an ironic statement, because yeah, my experience with this scene was people did exactly what you did not want them to do. You failed. So that's the way I saw it, and I have very mixed feelings about Yoda pulling a lightsaber. I just think it takes some of the mystique away from the character. I always thought, he was more of a Force user than a warrior, even a Jedi Knight. The best example I can think of is way back from Tales of the Jedi, if you can remember that far back. I believe it was Exar Kun was fighting his master, and his master was defending himself with a stick, and he just used the Force to protect the stick from the lightsaber. I thought that was kind of what Yoda was. That was my thought. So, and I'm going to say it too, in Revenge of the Sith, I felt kind of the same way about Palpatine using the lightsaber, because he almost, I felt like when he saw the lightsaber, he went, "Oh, a Jedi weapon." Like he was saying it with disdain. Like, almost Obi-Wan, like, how uncivilized. Okay, off my soapbox, sorry. But now you look at this, and I think there you also see what I'm talking about with the arms being too long. I just feel like those arms are a little too long. And I have a hard time getting over that. Okay, so while the camera was off and I was getting the cane, I thought for a second, oh wait, maybe his arms are a little too long so that he can actually sit with both his hands on his cane. And then I realized that the arms don't go that way. They only go up and down. Oh, that's right. They don't have any swivel motion. Oh, but it's too small. Don't tell me that, because I'm sorry, there are figures smaller than this that have that kind of articulation. If you can do it in those, you can do it in these. He also has no knee articulation, so he can't even sit down. He's got a little bit of ankle articulation. That's it. It's really a bit of a letdown, to be perfectly honest. I feel a little, I thought he'd have a little bit of pose. I mean, I didn't think he'd be able to do Spider-Man poses, but I thought he'd have about the average to a Black Series figure. Okay, so honestly, the more I mess with this figure, the more I'm realizing they really phoned this one in. They might have been counting on the box collectors to keep this one in the package too. This is really not good. And well, they tried. There is no try, only do. Okay, if you're not gonna do, then you no. Don't tell me they put effort in. Da 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 da. I mean, that's pathetic at this point in the game to have elbows that only go one way and no knees on a figure this size. This is ridiculous. I mean, it could be done. They just didn't try to do it. They didn't even put any effort towards it. So, yeah, I'm getting really disappointed in this figure. And I mean, I needed a Yoda for that display I've been talking about, and yeah, this one fills the bill, but he's going to be sitting beside a 3 3/4 inch figures that are have more articulation than he does, and are actually smaller. I mean, Ugnaughts come to mind. Come on, this is just, yeah. Hell, even previously Yoda figures have better articulation than this in the 3 3/4 scale. So yeah, I mean, I'm not even going to do any comparisons at this point because I'm getting frustrated. I got to be honest about it. I did have, I mean, I didn't have very high expectations, but higher than this. I expected something. I was going to give a pass to the lightsaber part because I was going to point out on the vintage figure, or at least the one I have, there is something that does kind of slightly resemble a lightsaber hilt. And, I always thought maybe that was Yoda's lightsaber. And it was just molded on, Kenner just did that, even though you don't see it in the movie. Uh, and I was gonna give it a pass on that until I started running into these other issues, and I'm like, wow, you didn't give any knee articulation. You can't even be bothered by that. That's ridiculous. I mean, I know it's Yoda, and I know he doesn't do as much, but come on. I mean, in this day and age, there's no excuse for a figure like this being released. There's just none. I'm giving it 1.5 stars. Mold wise, I mean, it's an okay statue, and I gave 3PO a pass on the articulation because that's part of his character. I mean, he actually can't move that well. Versus this, Yoda can move just fine, and this is plenty big enough of a figure to pull that off. And the effort just was not there. Okay, yeah, I would recommend staying away from this unless you're like me and doing a very specific display, and then yeah, try to find this one on sale because it's cheap. Yeah, Hasbro made a mint off of this one because they didn't do jack. Okay, yeah, okay, yeah, Hasbro. Okay, that's gonna wrap it up for Infinite Realms. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Okay, and I kind of just decided. Literally, I was just looking at Grogu, and I'm gonna tack this on at the end of my Yoda review because what is there to really say about Grogu? I mean, I'm trying to do a review of an accessory, and it's like, what the hell am I gonna say? Okay, so that's pretty much the extent of Grogu's articulation right there, which is not entirely unexpected since he really doesn't move around much in the show anyway. So that's not really going to be a gripe. He has some accessories here. Looks to be, I'm not afraid to take any things out. Looks to be his bowl, a frog that he ate, and those little eggs from that one episode. That's a guess on my part. It's really tiny. It's hard to see. And that's fair. It's Grogu, man. I mean, they would be tiny. I do feel like this figure could have came with some more for the price tag that was originally on it. It just seems like this was a big cash grab. This and Yoda felt like cash grabs on popular characters that they knew people would go after. Okay, and there he is with Mando. As you can see, it is accurate to scale. I just feel like there should have been more with it with that price tag. That's what I'm sticking to. I mean, he's more of an accessory, and you know, and I think he could have been better made as well. Every time I moved his arms off camera, the arms wanted to pop off, and that's not good. That's pretty poor design. So, I mean, at this point, I really feel like the 3 3/4 inch one is much more sturdy. But at least with that one, we got like the pram and other stuff. So, or he came with Din Djarin himself, and it kind of justified it. But this, yeah, again, it feels like a cash grab. Due to price, I mean, the price is so outrageous. I mean, yeah, it's 10, I believe it's $10. But the price is so outrageous, I got to give it 1 star. That price is just too much. I mean, even as cheap as that is, price is just too much. Should have been about maybe 4 at best. So that's what I'm going to say. So I'm going to lock those two together and just run with them. Anyway, that's it for Infinite Realms. Don't forget to like and subscribe.